The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the SGPN app. Get all of our free Pick Sam podcasts in one convenient app. Download the SGPN app today. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no guy. It's me, really Ralph, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. All right. We're currently got both hats on. Indiana Fever and Dallas Wings are on the screen right now as we await for the first NBA playoff game for the day. But we're here to talk about one team in particular.
Bing bang, bing bang, bing bang, bing bang, bing bang.
Yes, the New York Knicks are up 3-0 in their series, and we have to talk about them today. I feel like I've talked about almost every game of the series. Not game 3 though, but I've chatted about a lot of these New York Knicks recently. We've also got San Antonio and Minnesota coming up with my good bud Scott Studio Reichel. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, looking forward to the games today. And of course, on Sunday, we had a great first round. And the second round, not so much. I'll put it this way. The Spurs game last night was very entertaining. Ant and Wemby had themselves a solid overall head-to-head battle there. I'm annoyed I lost my team total under a Minnesota, which was absolutely disgusting. They had 3 points in the first 8 minutes of the game, and they finished with 108, so that was pretty disgusting. But either way, a nice win for San Antonio. Wemby at 39 and 15, so that series has been entertaining. But the Lakers series stinks. The Sixers series stinks. And we'll see if the Cavs can get back into the series once again later today. But there's a chance 3 out of the 4 series are 3-0. So exactly a great second round.
Yeah, a little bit uninspiring to say the least here. All right. Let's get ready to talk about those second round games, Scott. But first, I got to remind the people, if they're not already subscribed to us, the NBA Gambling Podcast, they need to be wherever you get your podcasts. If you're listening here on YouTube or if you're listening via audio on Apple, Spotify, it doesn't matter. Make sure you are subscribed. Give us a review. All of that. Appreciate it. All right. Let's talk about my New York Knicks, who are, again, up 3-0 over the Philadelphia 76ers.
Bing bang.
Scott, there were people that said I was crazy when I said that I thought the Knicks would sweep Boston. Well, they're up 3-0 against the team that beat Boston in 7. So is that really that crazy? I don't know. Knicks are laying 1.5 here. 213 is the total. Philly is trying not to go to Cancun. Potential elimination game here. They're catching 1.5 here at home. OG Anunoby, I would say, is probably not going to play with that hamstring injury, especially with the fact of the Knicks are up 3-1.
3-0.
I mean, to none. I might have said 1. 3-0.
If they lose this game, they'd be down 3-1, which is still not that bad. So I agree with you. I think that OG, there's no reason to play him after you won game 3.
Yes, and how they won game 3 and the fact of Philly did what they were supposed to do in terms of they were down 2 games at home. They won the first quarter and then proceeded to lose every single quarter after.
Paul George, 15 points first quarter. 0 for 9, final 3 quarters. 0 points in the final 3 quarters of the game. So playoff P back at it again.
Ball game.
Yeah. Once again, 15 in the first quarter, 0 the rest of the game. I have a lot of thoughts on Paul George, which I've mentioned many times on the show. I think out of all the NBA players, if you asked for most overrated, I would tell you Paul George.
Do you think that he was podcasting in the second half, and that's why he lost focus and went 0 for 9?
It could be. Maybe he was scheduling guests for the podcast in the locker room. So
And that's what
why.
was the thing that threw him off. And he wasn't locked in at that point. He was caring too much about the podcast. He should really give up that podcast again so that he can stay locked in.
Or counterpoint, just become a full-time podcaster. But
yeah, possibly. And
my thoughts on Paul George are simple. He's a very solid, tough shot taker and maker, but mentally he's just soft. It's just how I view him as a player. I don't think anybody has ever feared the ball being in Paul George's hands in the last 3 minutes of a game, besides fans of his own team. So I don't really think highly of Paul George at all. I know that he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's made a bunch of All-NBA teams and All-Stars. I think he's the most overrated player to ever play the game. That's my stance on Paul George.
Some kids like nowadays that like have Paul George as their GOAT.
Brandon Miller.
Like, it's just so crazy.
Brandon Miller specifically said that Paul George was his GOAT. Now, GOAT could mean favorite player, but
the fact that it's not just him, like there's a large contingent of people's Brandon Miller's age, maybe a little bit younger, that are like, yeah, Paul George is their GOAT, like for sure.
I can't remember a single clutch moment he's had in roughly 15 years. The last clutch moment I remember him having was that game against Miami when he was with Indiana, and I was in high school. That was the last time I could think of a clutch moment he's had his entire career. So, yeah, I'm very anti-Paul George. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but if he's your number 2 option, which we saw with Kawhi and in Philly and with Westbrook, he's an abysmal number 2 option because he's extremely overrated. So a lot of people you remember when this topic came up a couple of years ago and everyone was saying like either Allen Iverson or Carmelo as like the most overrated player. You remember when that was like a topic of conversation like a year or two ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, my answer is Paul George. And I feel pretty good about my answer. But I don't know if you want to chime in on your thoughts on the most overrated player who you could think of, but my vote's Paul George. I'm putting you on the spot, but you can think about that.
Paul George is pretty up there. It is. I want to get a good name, so I want to think about that.
You could argue James Harden, but he has an MVP, so I feel like you can kind of push him down a little bit. But the playoff numbers speak for themselves. But I would go Paul George on that list. But
the fact, like, I don't think anybody has like Ray Allen or Carmelo Anthony or like a lot of other names that you could think of as like their GOAT. But like there are legit people that have Paul George as their favorite basketball player, and for that, he has to be overrated. Has to be.
I don't even get the favorite part because he's not going to do anything in crunch time of every game. So like, why is he your favorite player? Because he's like an athletic wing who could shoot threes? Like, I don't really get it. I'd rather be an Ant fan right now as opposed to Paul George. Like, if you want to go for the 3-point shooting, the athleticism, I mean, Ant's the guy who actually wants to show up to work. Feels like Paul George checks out most of the time, but whatever. Let me know in the comment section, by the way, who you think the most overrated player of all time is. We'll stir up some controversy in the comment section. My vote's Paul George. So that's where I'm at. You can think about your answer and get back to me, Terrell.
Yeah, ultimately, I think the Knicks are going to get this done.
I do too.
If there is a game, and maybe you probably do need to be on Philadelphia for it, because if there is a game, it probably is this one that they just go ahead and pack it in. But like at this point, Cat has been unavailable for majority of the series. You have the fact that they have nobody that can guard Jalen Brunson.
Yep.
OG is hurt, so okay, but Josh Hart came in and now I wouldn't even say relief because Hart starts as well, but like clearly in one game, Hart's rebound numbers went and skyrocketed without OG.
And Bridges points.
Yeah.
Like 23.
Yeah.
And Shaman at 15 off the bench.
Everybody's just picking up. Like OG, yes, OG is really, really good. And OG makes us a really great team. And we're not as good without him. But like they're still pretty good without OG on the court because everybody else steps up and does their job. So like ultimately, this can get really ugly if Cat can stay on the floor and be able to actually go out there and play legit. But like, I mean, they're guarding Tyrese Maxey so well that like, yeah, sure, Kelly Oubre might have a little bit of a game here. Maybe VJ Edgecombe will put up a couple of points, but like, you're not doing anything that threatens actually winning the game. At no point in that game did I ever feel threatened that the Knicks were going to lose. So like, yeah, I guess I think the Knicks are just going to go ahead and sweep and get up out of here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like people can argue, home court. What would you say the percentage was of Knicks fans yesterday? 60?
At the very least, it's 50-50.
That's what I'm saying. It felt like home court was just not a thing the entire
And it's so
game.
funny because you try to do all this stuff like not so hey, we're selling to people with Philadelphia area codes, all this stuff, not knowing that like half the people that live in Philly are Knicks fans.
Yeah. Or just people who know this team isn't very good and they just want to sell their tickets. So they're going to sell their tickets. But either way, we saw the main New York stars there. I know Tracy Morgan was there. Ben Stiller was there. Chalamet was there. So it felt like it was basically MSG 2.0 at this point. Brunson's going on a heater in the fourth quarter. The crowd is still making noise because there are a lot of Knicks fans in the building. So if you have the inferior team, Embiid, who's been horrendous this entire series, who's been flopping left and right in every single game. Because
she hit a 3, Scott.
Clark's streak continues. She's on to game 2. But anyway, they're on to game 2. But the point is, if Cat's in foul trouble every game, and when he's on the court, they can't guard him, and Embiid has been awful on both sides of the ball, how can I actually like what Philly is doing for a chance to win a game? They have no bench. They're using Grimes out there, who looks awful, by the way. That's the only bench guy they're using. It's basically a 6-man rotation with an injured Embiid who is flopping all over the place. They're sending traps at Maxey the entire time. Oubre can be very up and down. Edgecombe has been up and down as well, and Paul George has been awful after the first quarter of all these games. I just don't like the Sixers' overall roster. And you know who'd be a really good fit on this team? Jared McCain. I'll go with the Knicks to get the job done here. I think they break out the brooms. I've seen this with Philly before, mainly in the Embiid process era. In these go-up or go-home games, I know they just came back from 3-1 down, but that's a whole separate Missoula-Boston can of worms there. Philly, we've seen roll over in multiple home games in the postseason with their backs against the wall. Didn't happen in the first round, but we have seen it many times before, mainly against Miami. We've seen it over the years. So I think they roll over. We saw them lose to the Knicks in Game 6 in the previous series in Philly after they stole Game 5. I've seen this before. I think the Knicks go in there. I think they win, and I think they break out the brooms.
And wasn't it Boston that swept them? Like I remember seeing Joel Embiid and his team getting swept before. So like
they lost Game 6 at home when they had Harden and they were up 3-2. Like they've had a bunch of really bad home playoff games over the years with Embiid.
I don't like all the positive Knicks stuff, but I have to remind myself this is literally where I thought the Knicks would be in the beginning of the season.
My preseason finals pick was Thunder Knicks, so we're basically right on schedule. So we're going to see what happens. But look, it worked out for the Knicks. Whether you were afraid of Boston or not, they took on a compromised Philly team that we didn't think was that good, and they've looked like the much better seed. And they took care of business. They survived the first punch, the initial storm in Game 3, and they immediately jumped them in the second quarter onward. But Philly can't score in this series. The Knicks defense has just been amazing all around. And if Embiid's not going to be able to give you 30 because he's just not as quick as he normally is, and the Knicks have been great with their rotations, I don't know what the Sixers have as a backup plan because once again, they have no bench. All their players are being run into the ground right now because Maxey's playing 45 minutes a game and Embiid's on one leg playing 35 minutes a game. And Paul George is 36 years old. Like they don't have anything left in the tank. I'm on the Knicks. Unless Scott Foster's the ref, then we'll reconsider. But I'll go for the Knicks on the money line.
Yep. 213 is total.
I'll go with the Philly team total under in this game. Philly just can't score. Once again, they have scored less than 103 points in every game of the series. They've scored less than 99 in 2 of the 3 games in this series. And even against Boston, the offense wasn't amazing. The defense was great because Boston just kept breaking every 3-point shot. But Philly's offense looks right now broken unless Maxey goes crazy because I think Embiid's too compromised to actually go for a 35-point game. And I have no faith in Paul George. And they have no bench. So I'm on the Sixers team total under. It's like 105.5, 106, basically 105.5. Feels too high to me. Give me the Sixers team total under.
Yeah, if you're expecting a points in here, you're basically banking on Philly just having like some type of day from 3, and I just can't commit to them like that. I don't even think that, the backdoor cuts and shit that Kelly Oubre is getting is going to be things that slide going forward in the series anymore. Like, he had that 22-point game. I think that's the high for Kelly Oubre. So, yeah, their avenues to score the basketball just continue to dwindle, and I don't know who's going to step up for them. I agree with you. Team total under Philadelphia, 105.5. I think it's a great price.
Yep. Anything else you want to?
Nope. Play props.
I was a fan
I mean,
of
they legit
oh,
can't.
no.
I'm sorry, they just legit can't guard Jalen Brunson. That's all I was going to say. Continue.
No, I was going to say I agree with you there. I don't mind Brunson going over in general, but I didn't mind Maxey actually under his rebounds at 3.5 at plus 110. He's done nothing on the board this entire series, and it makes sense because there are a lot of large people out there. You have Cat, who's in foul trouble all the time. Mitchell Robinson, who we know is a good rebounder off the bench. Shout out for the poster dunk, by the way. That was pretty cool. Embiid, we know, is extremely tall. We know Josh Hart is a rebounding menace as well. It just feels like that's not Maxey's role. We know Oubre can step up on the boards, Paul George occasionally, Edgecombe the same way. It's just not what Maxey does on this team. He's just not the rebounding guy. He's the least likely person on Philly's side to rebound the ball, and he's gone under in every game. So I'll go for the under 3.5 rebounds at plus 110.
I'll take the over 9.5 rebounds for Josh Hart.
Go.
This is what happens when you give Josh Hart the opportunity to fly around the rim and just corral rebounds. He does that. Actually really good rebounding numbers against Philly, but that last game where he had that 11 rebounds, as soon as OG was out, if OG is still out, I'm taking the over on Josh Hart rebounds. I think he's going to go out and continue to do what he does and box out, be efficient, fly around the rim, and get misses. And there'll be plenty of misses to work with on the Philly side of the ball because of how inefficient, I should say, we think that they are going to be offensively. So, yes, Josh Hart rebounds, good. And the fact that Cat can't stay on the goddamn floor.
That too. I agree. Anything else you want to mention or just move on to the next game?
I really want to say Cat's going to have a good game, but, like, he can't stay on the fucking floor.
He is such a great matchup for, like, a triple-double if he actually just avoided foul trouble for once in his life. And he really can't help himself. Every game, he's been in foul trouble. Every game, it's insane. It's going to come back to bite them at some point, which I know is why all season long we've been talking about how Cat can be the ceiling booster or, once again, the saboteur of this team. The foul trouble's out of control from Cat. Like, he just can't help himself. But in this series, it won't matter.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's just bullshit. Like,
yeah.
It's just,
and Embiid flopping, like, there was one where Embiid tackled him and they challenged it and somehow it turned out to be a foul on Cat. Like, I didn't understand that one. But the other ones are just like, why are you reaching in on Embiid who can't do anything right now from, like, 3-point range or anything? A lot of it just feels like, low basketball IQ, but it's fine. Knicks are up 3-0. It's good to have this problem when you're up 3-0 as opposed to down 3-0. So we'll see if he can work on it next series, but it is a problem long term.
Hopefully hopefully the matchup is better in the next series where he doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Brocco Sportsbook and Casino. Ton of great ways to get on the action with Brocco. They got you covered for all the major sports, offering over 100,000 sports markets a month. They're available in a ton of states, and Wednesdays are for blackjack. Play blackjack on Wednesdays and you get 50% off your losses back. Depositing and withdrawing is very easy with Brocco Bank, Apple Pay, even cryptocurrency. So get a free $5 and a purchase match up to $100 at Brocco using promo code SGPN. That's Brocco, BRACCO, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Kalshi, real money prediction market, legal in a ton of states. Kalshi has a ton of trading options for your favorite sports, WNBA, NBA, MLB, all of that. So go lock in with Kalshi. New Kalshi customers get $10 when they use that promo code SGPN. That is Kalshi, KALSHI, promo code SGPN. All right. Next game, second game, last game. San Antonio Spurs are on the road, up 2-1 in their series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Spurs are laying 4.5. 218.5 is the total. So San Antonio and Minnesota went to war. Well, it was more like Anthony Edwards and Wemby. Back and forth, back and forth. Wemby 39 points. I mean, it's just the freaking nature.
Yep. He finally started hitting some shots.
So coming off of a 39 versus 32 point explosion for Wemby and Anthony Edwards, respectively, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves here down, really, really looking to tie up the series here. I have to say, San Antonio won that game. And I think it's because San Antonio is the more talented team that they won that game. But Minnesota has proven to me, and I mean, outside of game 2, which is like very clearly not a good spot for Minnesota.
Yeah. Mm.
Minnesota has proven to me, like, dog, they're just good in the playoffs. Like, they know how to win games. They're going to go out there and compete, and they're never, like, at this point, they're never going to be an easy out in the playoffs for anybody. They have the grit, the tenacity, the defense to pick up, and then they get enough done offensively where, hey, we're going out there, we're competing every single night. Like, it's not just one of them teams that are just going to roll over. And so I really don't think going down 3-1 is like anywhere in the cards for Minnesota right now. I expect things to continue to be feisty, still to be a little bit chippy. You see, who was it? Castle and McDaniels going back and forth, getting into it a little bit. They got Ayo Dosunmu's back, and I think another game with him. He could be somebody that comes and brings a big impact into this series. Like, I think they just have enough where they're going to compete with this San Antonio Spurs team regardless. So, like, laying this amount of points on the road just never felt like it was going to be in the cards for me. I'm all on the Minnesota Timberwolves bandwagon of, regardless, win or lose, this team's always going to go out in there and compete. And so I like the points.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a very close game. I mean, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. I think we'd agree, no matter how good Minnesota might be in the playoffs, if they go down 3-1, they're done, correct? Like, we're not picking a 3-1 comeback here.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Especially with game 5 and game 7 on the road. Like, I just don't see that happening. So it is a must-win game for Minnesota. These teams are more evenly matched than they should be. Like, I think San Antonio is the better team, except I don't trust the consistency from Fox. I think the bench for San Antonio has not been great. I mean, Keldon's been kind of a mess all postseason at this point. However, Minnesota, I think the reason why they lost the game was because both Randall and McDaniels were horrible offensively the entire game. So if you end up getting Ant, who played 40-plus minutes, who looked really good, like he had 14 rebounds too for a guy who was injured and ended up, of course, kind of rushing back from injury. He looked great in game 3, which was a serious question mark that I had going in. So based on that, if you get even a decent game from Randall or McDaniels, you might actually win that game. So I don't mind what you're saying. However, I think I will take San Antonio to win. If Wemby ends up solving the Gobert puzzle and he ends up having like another 30-point game, I really don't know what Minnesota can do. Like, I don't know what they're supposed to do. Castle had a double-double in the last game as well. It just feels like the Spurs have so many options in terms of physics, just in terms of athleticism, where I don't know if Minnesota can match that. So I still think the Spurs win the game, but I think it's close either way. So I'm going for the Spurs 1-10 in this game. Give me a close game, comes down to the wire. I think the Spurs escape by the skin of their teeth, but I will pick a 3-1 series lead for the Spurs. But I do think, once again, instead of laying the points, this could be a one-possession game where maybe Ant has a chance to win the game, and I'm saying it doesn't go their way, but it could. If you go for the actual margin of victory in this game, Spurs 1-10 is plus 194. That's a really good price.
And you know what, man? I think that's because it's a good chance that they lose the game.
Yeah, if you want Minnesota, by the way, 1-10, that's plus 280.
Oh, what?
You can play both if you want to, if you think it's just a close game either way.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to run away with it if they win. 280? Scott, that might be my dog.
Just saying, like, you can go for both if you think it's going to be a close game either way, but I'll give it to San Antonio, just thinking that Wemby might have solved the Gobert defensive matchup, but I do think it'll be a very close game once again, so I see it being really entertaining. I'm happy that at least one series has been competitive, because the other 3, once again, right now are not too good. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, give me the Spurs by like 2. So I'll pick Minnesota to cover, but it's going to be a war.
All right. Totals at 218.5. I'm going to still say under.
I'm I'm with you on the under. I know that game 3 went over, but it still feels like Minnesota has to keep the game ugly if they want to actually win the game. And we saw Wemby and Ant combined for like 70-plus points. Minnesota had a bunch of second chance opportunities. They had like 99 field goal attempts, which I just think is unsustainable. So based on that, I'll go with the under with you. I think that it's a good opportunity for a bit of sell high on the total. So, and both teams we know are great defensively. So I'm with you on the under.
I'll just see Sims with 3-point play. This game's good. Like this is literally two teams playing the exact same style.
With a smart move by the Wings, though, they're basically just denying the ball from Caitlin and daring anybody else to do anything, which is just a smart move. It's going to kill my assist play, but it's a smart move by Dallas.
Hopefully, she spams out some more in this fourth quarter coming up.
Smart move, though, denying her the ball constantly.
Player props. I don't think Ant and Wemby are going to go off again.
Okay. So you're picking Wemby to regress, though, because you like the Timberwolves.
Yes, I definitely think Wemby regresses, but I think Ant, like maybe it's not 30, but maybe it's still 26, 27. Naz Reid really got going in that last game.
He did. He almost had a double-double.
I think that's somebody that I could find interesting. I'm looking for like the others. I think this is the others game. It's that kind of game. That's the vibes that I'm feeling here, Scott, for the series. The others step up. After and all that attention, they both just had 30, Wemby almost 40. Like they command all that attention in game 4 after those big outbursts. And everybody else just kind of steps up. Vassell maybe has a game. Like Keldon Johnson, I could see having a game. Something like that. That's the angle that I feel here. Maybe I do just go with Vassell. And this is all right, my guy Devin Vassell on the road has a little moment. Probably, and that probably does result in a loss. Devin Vassell going out and having some amazing games doesn't necessarily always translate into wins for them. Let me see. His PRA has been really good.
I was going to say Vassell has been in the starting lineup. He's playing a decent amount of minutes. He's been pretty good so far this postseason.
Yeah. All right. 18.5 PRA. Points are at 11.5. I like both of those. Let's see.
I'm a fan of Ant rebounds in this game at 5.5. I think 5.5 is way too low. He had 14 last game. He played 40-plus minutes. Mm-hmm. We both think it's a must-win game for Minnesota. Is Ant in line to play like 45 minutes?
Yep.
So based on the overall playing time, I have to assume that Ant's going to be at least near the rim enough to grab rebounds. But he's a good rebounder anyway. Shout out to the long shot in the Thunder series last year.
Mm-hmm.
5.5. Like minus 112? I did a show this morning. It was plus 115. But like he could go for a double-double in this game. He literally just had 14 last game. Give me Ant over 5.5 rebounds. I think that number's insane for a guy that pretty much has to play 40 minutes if Minnesota wants to try to even up the series. Keyword try. It might not matter, but they have to play Ant 40-plus minutes. Give me Ant rebounds.
All right. I like it. That's enough for me, Scott.
Go.
Not feeling Julius Randle this game.
I thought about McDaniels. He did take 22 shots last game. He only made 5 of them. He was terrible. But McDaniels is going to keep firing if you wanted to go for McDaniels play. But
his confidence is sky high right now.
Yeah, whether it goes in or not, at least he's looking to the rim with confidence. For prop purposes, that's all you could ask for.
Let me. What's the line on McDaniels? His points are at 15.5.
And once again, he took 22 shots.
Yeah. All right, I'm interested.
All right. Maybe we'll recycle that for Underdog.
Possibly. We'll see. Hey, speaking of Underdog, we could do that right now. Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. Higher or lower your favorite player fantasy stats. We'll make a 3-pick entry right now, Scott. You can lock in and figure that out. I know that I just don't see Philadelphia stopping Jalen Brunson yet again. They really don't have any options. Like, what are you going to do? He cooks every single one of your defenders. Your best chance is Paul George. And then, like, if that's your best chance, yikes.
Well, the best chance in theory is you double, but that's going to leave other people wide open. But they're going to try that. They're going to try to trap.
So I'm cool with that. Or Josh Hart rebounds. I really like the Josh Hart rebounds.
I like the Hart rebounds. We both think OG is not going to play. So I think that works out perfectly.
All right. That's a little spicy, too. Hart rebounds, higher 9.5.
I want the Ant rebounds.
All right.
Which we agreed on.
Yep.
And then, did you want to do McDaniels or Vassell?
I can go with Vassell.
All right, works for me.
All right, there we go. So we've got I hit prize details instead. Whoopsie. Josh Hart higher 9.5 rebounds. Anthony Edwards higher 5.5 rebounds, and Dan Vassell higher 11.5 points. Add that all in Underdog, shake it up. You're gonna get 5.49x. $100 get you $549 over there at Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you just use that promo code NBA SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm, the official data tool for dominating the NBA, MLB, WNBA, and golf. You can get a 7-day free trial over there at Rhythm to tail their models, or you can build your own models, dominate the looks, play around the sliders, see what you like. WNBA is going on right now as I'm watching the Dallas Wings up on the Indiana Fever, 77-75, 1 minute and 5 left in the third, 78-75 now. And guess what? Last season, Rhythm tracked 359 bets for a 58% win probability over there in Rhythm. That resulted in over $2,000 worth of profit. So go check out Rhythm. Use that promo code SGPN25. Get your 25% off your first month over there. Lock in with Rhythm, promo code SGPN25. All right, Scott. Lock, dog, prop, lock.
You want to go first?
Yeah. Lock. I don't think Philly's scoring. Philly team total under 105.5. Dog. Give me that Minnesota 1-10 plus 280. Because I really don't think Minnesota's going to run away with it. But I do think they win. 2-2. And then maybe they fold at home in like a game 6, if that. But like this really could go 7. So like, yeah. I'll take Minnesota.
Go.
Prop. I didn't take Brunson and Underdog. I'll take him here. Brunson over for 26.5 points. 26.5 is still really low. Should be higher.
Yeah. For my lock, I'm going to go with the Philly team total under in this game at 106.5 minus 115. They can't score. They've gone under in every game. Embiid's not healthy. Maxi's been kind of somewhat neutralized in the series. And Paul George has done nothing in the final 3 quarters of games. They have no bench. That's my lock. I think 106.5 is just too high of a number. Philly could still win if it turns out to be a low-scoring game, but I'll dare him to get to 107 against this defense. So give me the team total under as my lock. For my dog, I am going to go with the Spurs 1-10. I think they find a way, but I like the price. Give me the Spurs 1-10 at plus 194. For my prop, Ant over 5.5 rebounds minus 112.
All right. He's at Reichel Radio. I'm at really well __. Make sure you give us a follow at SGPN NBA, youtube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast. 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcast. Apple, Spotify, does not matter. Scott, anything else to repeat before we get out of here?
Yeah, one thing. We're waiting for lines to drop because there are a couple WNBA teams on back-to-backs tomorrow. There will be a WNBA episode later tonight. We're going to try to aim for around 10, but we'll see. It depends on when the lines drop, but there will be a WNBA episode tonight.
All right. With that, that is it. I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just going to like this. We are